From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. A Tok woman was arraigned in Fairbanks Superior Court yesterday for her involvement in the $30,000 heroin bust last week.
52-year-old Joanne Weber pleaded not guilty to second-degree misconduct involving a controlled substance. Troopers arrested Weber for her involvement with Floyd Stuck, who faces multiple drug charges and weapon charges. Troopers arrested Stuck after receiving tips from the Tok community about suspected drug activities. Investigators say a search on February 16th yielded 32 firearms, $3,000 worth of meth, and about $30,000 worth of heroin. Troopers also reported finding other drugs, gold nuggets, and cash during the investigation. Weber's next court date is scheduled for April.
The Fairbanks City Council and a local labor union have reached an agreement on 2016 wages and benefits after several months of negotiations. The agreement gives Fairbanks Central Labor Council union employees only a 1.1% wage increase in return for additional comp time rights. Employees with the city's public works and engineering departments will increase their wages by just $500 over the next 2 years. However, Union President Lake Williams says employees are happy to be getting the ability to carry 80 hours of comp time into the next calendar year.
It was something they asked for, and I think in the end it isn't going to be a big cost to the city. It was only 80 hours. Allows them, if they get some overtime in December, to carry it over till the next year. So they can plan some vacations with their families in slow time. So I appreciate that the council looked at that and considered. And of course, we didn't ask for the high number that some of the other bargaining units have, but I think 80 hours was fair.
The first class of students at the Tanana Chiefs Conference Health Aid Training Center are working to bring home new skills to their villages. Mike Fussell has the story.
So you're gonna try the other side? There you go.
Being an instructor in the medical field often means being a practice patient for your students. And if that's the case, Faith Walsh, who trains community health aides, will soon find herself in a lot of different situations.
They will be the first on site for a trauma, they're the first for acute care, any sick or anything, and also for any follow-up care that they need, they come back from.
Walsh oversees the Tanana Chiefs Conference Fairbanks Community Health Aid Training Center, which opened its doors this month to help meet demand throughout interior villages.
We've had villages without proper trained health aides, and they're just sitting there. And this is affecting patient care.
Here, students learn the healthcare basics of assessment, emergency response, delivery, and trauma care. They bring those skills back to their villages where they will be on the front lines of rural healthcare, often by themselves.
We have our supervisors, we have our peers here, but I've been thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go home and there's going to be me. So I've been trying to keep that in my mind.
Carissa Carroll is a CHA student based out of Ruby. Carroll says after these classes, she can officially expand the care she provides in the village.
I had a lot of serious injuries that I wish I had training so I could give medication to them to help, and that's what I really look forward to bringing back to my village.
The downtown Fairbanks location also makes it so interior students don't have to travel to Anchorage, Bethel, or Nome to complete their training.
My heart would just be pulling if I was farther away, and I think that it would have made training harder. So I'm just really grateful. I'm just an hour away from my kids.
Carol says she's no stranger to the bumps and bruises she's come across in her line of work.
Playing basketball and everything, so I had a kind of a hands-on kind of thing on that of myself. Helping people, seeing that they're in pain and helping them relieve that pain, it's just really rewarding kind of thing.
Reporting from the Al Ketzler building, I'm Mike Fussell.
When we come back, for those looking for employment, the Wood Center was the place to be today. We'll explain.
Also in this week's military report, Monty Bowen tells us about a unique exercise that was conducted recently in the Arctic North. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Recruiters, employers, and job seekers line the halls of the Wood Center. Sarah Dabowski was there and has more in this report.
The UAF Wood Center was buzzing with bright-eyed and hopeful students today, all in search of a new occupation, career opportunity, or internship at the 2016 Spring Job Fair.
Today is the Spring Job and Internship Fair and the Engineering Career Week combined event where engineering firms will be upstairs in the ballroom recruiting engineering students on campus from all disciplines. And then down here in the mall area, there's pretty much every other major you can think of companies are recruiting.
Recruiters and employers were looking to fill lots of different positions, so we caught up with a few of the students to see what kind of opportunities they were on the hunt for.
I am looking for a full-time position. I'm graduating in May, and I am looking for other engineering positions other than just petroleum, as there's not many of those out there in the world right now.
I'm looking for an internship with engineering. What sort of field or where? I don't really have my mind made up.
I am looking for a job in mechanical engineering. I'm currently enrolled in HVAC and have experience with AutoCAD, so that applies to a few of the positions here regarding heating, ventilation systems. So I feel like that'll be kind of like the road I'll try to apply for.
Sarah Dabowski reporting.
Monday kicked off the season for this year's World Ice Art Championships in the ice park located at the end of Field Road. Since that date, more unique features have been added. But of course, the main attraction is the ice carvers who are now beginning to arrive from all over the world. Work is now underway to cut the huge blocks of ice from the pond that sits next to the park and begin moving them into place for the competition, which begins next Monday with the single block creations.
7 artists that will be participating in one of our 4 events. All of the single block is filled up, and all of the multi-block, and they were filled up the middle of November, just to give you an idea of the demand that people really want to come into Fairbanks. And there's some really unbelievable designs that will be done, as they are every year. The artists, the imagination of what these ice artists can do in 2.5 days or 5.5 days. For example, the piece that was done behind us is 22 feet in height. That was done in 3 days by 2 artists that came in early to help build the ice park.
The military in Alaska is in constant training mode, so they can be prepared to protect the homeland or respond wherever needed. Monty Bowen looks at one exercise they conducted this past winter in this week's Military Report.
They call it an EDRI. That stands for Emergency Deployment Readiness Exercise.
We left out of Eielson Air Force Base, routed through Fort Wainwright, Alaska, en route to Dead Horse, Alaska, one of the most northern places we could have gone, to the top of Alaska.
They took 4 Stryker vehicles and 41 people on the mission.
Which is a platoon plus with a company C2 element, as well as some battalion C2 nodes, so we could set up HF capability up here, which is high frequency radio, so we can use our radios to communicate back with our headquarters element in the rear.
There were also 2 C-17 air transports that helped conduct the movement.
It was very successful. It only took a few hours to load and depart, and it took less time to actually stage once we were up here.
The exercises are necessary to ensure that the units are ready for any contingency on short notice.
It's a testament to our readiness. We have the vehicles that can make the movement, that are ready for the Arctic conditions, and we have strategic airlift capabilities, close proximity to Fort Wainwright, that can also get us up here in a quick fashion.
This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Kendall Auto of Fairbanks.
Up next in sports, Joe Cook catches up with 2 Ice Dogs who will be playing Division I hockey.
It's also the last week of regular season hoops for UAF. We'll have more after the break.